Good Wednesday morning, peoples. Wednesday is declaration date of a whole lot. Somebody had asked me a question on my last um, update on these weeklies, and it was on Defiant. So just as an FYI, most of you aren't confused. It confused me when I looked at it for a second. So we all know that Defiance and uses J as their option writer, right, to handle their options for them. They have three funds that are, if you will, equivalent now. It's a competition with Roundhill on the weeklies, and that is the Russell, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ 100. They do it slightly different, but one of the confusion things is that Defiance has got six funds. So a lot of people have asked, well, Bruce, is Defiance going all the weeklies? Guys, so a better answer than just saying no or yes, the answer is no, they're not. The limiting factor in order to have any fund right now, that doesn't mean it'll always be a limitation, but the limiting factor is the ability for a high income fund, they need to write options and then they need to have those options finish their term, right? If you're winning, you leave it alone. If you're losing, sometimes maybe you take it off or you roll it, you do something else. Sometimes you can even roll it if you're winning and you've won 90% in 3 days and it's a 5 day option, right? It's a 5 trading days. So there's little bits of strategy, but you can't take something that you're collecting money on a weekly basis and pay weekly because you don't really have time. So what you're seeing is the index funds, right? The NASDAQ, the S&P, the Russell. In theory, you could do it on the Dow. There are funds that are big traded index and have a lot of options, and they even, not only do they have option liquidity, you need a high volume, you need a lot of big stocks have that. Nvidia has that, Misty has it, TSM has it. There's a lot of big stocks, Facebook, all of the Mag 7, but you need to be able to write daily options so you're winning along the way to pay weekly. Now, when those funds start up, they may say, hey, we're not going to pay for 2 weeks because they want to get the money in the bank and have earned it. But if you think about it, YIELDMAX took their monthly funds, they still only pay Misty, they still only pay Nvidia, they still only pay Coney once a month. But technically, instead of paying 12 times a year, they're now paying 13 times a year because they're doing it every 4 weeks. So somebody sooner or later was going to go, no, Bruce, it's 13, it's not 12. They're not really monthly. But generally, you think of it Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. They just pay now on the week. So think of Group A as week 1, Group B as week 2, Group C as week 3, and Group D as week 4 throughout the month. So, but the benefactors of the weekly pay is YMAG and YMAX. Okay, they are truly getting paid weekly because each of the groups pay their dividends differently, right? First week, second week, third week, and they're collecting it so they can pay you one portion of a group. They can pay you 1/4 of their money from Group A. They don't always be an equal fourth, right? We're going to learn more and more about that over time. So I wanted to clarify some of those few remaining things out there that are still residual and a little bit confusing to people that don't do it at a detailed level. So Defiance has, so you cannot today on single stocks do individual daily. I can't go out and sell a put or an ODT, 0 day expiration. I cannot do a zero DTE transaction, be it a call, be it a put, a buy, a sell on a daily basis on the big name stocks at this point in time. There could be a future, right? But on the indexes, they're much bigger and they're more popular. So because they're made up of so many stocks, right? So that's a point of clarification. And that's why YMAG and YMAX can be weekly because of these 30 something single, 25, whatever the number in YIELDMAG of these single stock funds. So we're starting to track that. Let me jump in here. This is YIELDMAX, this is Group C, okay? We all know what Group A was, right? NVIDIA, Facebook, JPMO, or sorry, this is actually Group B. Sorry about that. Carried over. Group A is Tesla, Orc, Google. I'm just going to call them what their real names are. ExxonMobil, Ybit, because it's based on BTC, crashes an inverse on Tesla. Snowy is on Snowflake, a software company, and TSMY is on TSM, right? Big Taiwan-based semiconductor, Taiwan Semi. Okay, so Group B is NVIDIA, Facebook, JP Morgan, Murni, GDX, which is a gold and silver miners index, DIPS, which is the opposite of long NVIDIA. It's short NVIDIA, just like Tesla and crash, right? Tesla is long, Tesla, crash is short. And then in fiat and Coney, fiat is the inverse, okay, of Coinbase or coin, and Coney is the long form. So let's jump in here and see what they paid. Okay, we've got Coney did very nice, $1.10. Now you got to look, the price is $14.23. Heck, the price was almost $10. It got really low on a fund that for the first 8 or 9 months never really went below 20, traded between 20 and 31. And fiat is paid very, very well, right? It dropped to $1.45, but so what? And I need to, by the way, these are not accurate. These are close because I'm still doing the monthly times 12. I need to be doing, 452s to be correct. And that's going to bump these yields up a little bit. I saw it and I was ready to do it. And then I got distracted and I did something else. So just know these are close. Look at the actual sheet. And like this one's 75 instead of 70. It's not real hard to change it. Okay, I probably could do it with a 13 here. And that probably would do it. It's a little on the high side, but that's the idea behind it because you have so many instances of these paydays. So I think I'll just go through here and do it for you while I got you. I don't think it's a bigger change than just doing this, to be honest, because it's 450 seconds, which is a 13th. But when I do total return, it's a lot more complicated on my sheet. So I wasn't expecting this right now to be so readily easy. I might as well just do it. Okay. One more and I am done. These guys live in a different world, right? They divide by 52. Because you truly are getting 1 week's worth. They're truly the week earner. They're the benefactor. Now notice, this is interesting, guys. YMAX and YMAG, these are the underlying. This was the price that the underlying stock was on the night of the 15th. They declare on the morning of the 16th before the market opened. So we based the yield on that, right? So since these are weekly, so not only did we drop a little, we dropped 10 cents there and we dropped 34 cents here And look at the yields. We went from 60% annualized yield to and 76 on YMAG to 51 and 62. So that's a big drop, even though this is outstanding. These had been high 30s. You know, YMAX was dropping below 40. You could long, for a long time, you can consider it about a 40% yield. Now, the problem likely, I haven't analyzed this, is that the NAV on these guys is going to start dropping. You used to didn't see YMAX below 19 and YMAG below 20. Look at them now. Now, if you're getting high enough money over here, you go right to your total return and say, hey, I got 65% yield that I collected and I had a 9%. So what? 65 minus 9, that's 55% annualized return. Nothing wrong with that. But those of you guys that refuse to look at that number, I have a problem with your logic. I don't care if you say, hey, it's all about net, because it is all about the net total return. You know, why not compare? If I can get 100% yield and a 20% NAV loss, I'll take 80 over 55 any day. I don't care that it had a 20% NAV loss, right? Okay, so that's what I got for you on these. Take a look at the numbers, 145. Big payments from fiat, the inverse. Sometimes the inverses don't work. They get capped, right? Microsoft was up. AMD, boy, you can't get much closer than that. Netflix was up. Look at PP. What was my number here on PP? It was one. Oh, I see what I did. This number is big this month, 161.93. Right? That, or is that last month? I gotta, sorry guys, I'm gonna look up on my other monitor now. Or I want to make sure I know which one is the previous month. Yeah, 161.93 is the previous month. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So there you go. So that dropped from 161 to 110, but it's still outstanding, right? 111.50 is the way I see it on 1888. This guy had a 40-cent payment on $16. Now, Ulti is up close to 100 when I used the 13 number, right? On 82 cents. I mean, that's outstanding. But, you know, I own a little bit of Ulti. I don't own much of anything of YIELDMAX anymore. I'm going to do a comparison of the underlying and the fund and just show how poor on YBIT and GDXY on two areas that I'm bullish, right? I'm bullish on BTC and I'm bullish on GDX and the gold miners for multiple years. And yet YIELDMAX can roll out a fund and they just suck. How can you, I mean, you look at the charts and they're going in the opposite direction. GDXY is going down, right? And GDX is going up. And I'm talking about since they've had spreads and everything else. It's just horrible. And YBIT is been very, very similar. So you guys just have to learn to pick them when you're in these YIELDMAX funds. And it's not just about, you know, the old saying, I used to say, if you're bullish on the underlying, buy that. Well, that's no guarantee with YIELDMAX. If these guys can screw it up, they'll figure a way to do it. Trust me. That's why I don't own much of them. There are a lot better ways to play the game than to go into these high yield YIELDMAX. I know there's a bunch of them that love them, but we'll see a year from now or 2 years from now. You notice the institutions can't even go into these things until they have a 3-year shelf life. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you. Pretty good, pretty good. I will say I like YMAX and YMAG. You may say, well, why do you like those if you don't like a lot of the underlying? Because they've got a lot more ways to spread out their world. Okay, it's Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great day ahead. Bye for now.